Wow, things really got out of hand here.
That's a lot of blood. The victim was stabbed several times. Sharp enough to gut a fish or a man. An ordinary kitchen knife.
What would you like? On today's menu we have stomach punching, head kicking and the chef's special, throat slitting.
Solid oak. It took quite a blow to break it. Shards of a broken bottle with blood on them. Someone must have landed hard on it. The lenses are very thick. The owner of these glasses is very nearsighted.
Spilled beer led to spilled blood.
It all started when the trader accidentally spilled his beer over the sailor. The trader punched the soldier who came crashing down on a table. The worker smashed a bottle over the trader's head, then the sailor knocked the worker out with a chair. The soldier is the real killer. He wanted to knife the trader but killed the sailor due to his poor eyesight. Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more. This area is restricted.
You have 3 people detained on suspicion of murdering a sailor in a bar fight. All evidence indicates that the soldier among them is the true killer. He was the last man standing.
Very well. Soldier or not, he'll get what he deserves. I'll see to it personally. Nice work. Try solving another case. It seems you have a knack for it.
Exquisite furniture for you. Sorry, I've nothing to offer you at present.
Come, decorate your... Merhaba. It's a good day for a purchase. May your purchase bring you joy.
Nice of all. Let's pick something that suits you. A good choice. A good choice indeed.
Landscapes and portraits. My goods will brighten up your house. Enjoy your purchase. Garden statues, swings. My goods will brighten up your house. Enjoy your purchase.
My mother always wore this around her neck until one day it disappeared. I was wondering where it went. She said it was a birthday present from a good friend. I just had another glimpse of a memory, John. It's fuzzy, but I'm sure it happened somewhere in the manor.
Finally moving forward. Shall we go? Well done, Sherry. The hall now looks much as it did in our youth. Brings back fond memories. You know, I envy you, Sherry. You can talk to other people and they won't ignore you.
And I envy you. You can ignore any person you're bored with. You don't miss out on much. Most men are dull, unlike yourself.
Well, I'm flattered.
Another one. There must be something important behind it. I can feel it. I had a surprise for my mother. You had a shovel with you, John. I was holding an ancient Greek vase, or rather, quite a big piece of it. I remember now, we dug up the vase from Greek ruins here on Cordona, and were eager to show my mother right away. For some reason, the door was closed. We knocked.
But nobody answered. We thought that she was busy.
So we left the vase and ran downstairs. I decided to gather some archaeological tools in order to take a closer look at the vase.
But then we heard something, didn't we?
Yes. It came from upstairs.
The vase was broken, shards scattered all over the floor. And your mother was standing at the door.
Indeed, John. I doubt it was her. Let me concentrate. Otto Richter was standing there, furious at us. Dr. Richter told us never to disturb my mother when the door is closed. He said she had broken the vase.
But we didn't believe him. I bet he smashed it. Her things are still here.
Presumably Mycroft never felt the need to sort through it all.
Or couldn't bring himself to.
No. He would have put it behind him and moved on. My brother is not one for sentimentality. This room always reeked with an acrid medicinal stench. And here is the reason. It reminds me of my mother. This picture was drawn by my mother. I recognize her hand. There's a date on it, 8th of December, 1868. This seems a bit odd. I can recognize my mother's style, but it's far too sloppy. Dated 12th of February, 1869. It's difficult to tell what this is meant to represent. There's no date at all. Straps on the bed. Just doesn't look right. Seems this was the most frequently used medication. One dram dissolved in a glass of water administered daily, not to exceed 1 dose in 24 hours, not to be given to children.
Oh, I would love to take a bath right now.
Not this one. Surface corrosion suggests it was prone to extreme temperature fluctuations. For medical purposes, I suppose. It's a strange feeling to read about my father's death in the newspaper. I can't recall anything except the deep feeling of loss.
You were too young. It happened before we even met. It's so sad. I'm sorry.
It reminds me of my mother. Looks like it was damaged by a blunt object.
Look what I found. The White King is under attack. Sherry, can you save him and checkmate the opponent in one move? Oh, nice move. You saved the king and checkmated the Black King with the rook. Do you think the doctor could have used these tools here? I hope not.
There appear to be residues of the bottle's contents at the bottom. There appear to be residues of the bottle's contents at the bottom. No labels. I doubt it ever had one. brings back some memories. The broken plate shards were all over the floor. Mycroft had to change his suit as the one he was wearing was completely stained. Mother was troubled that morning. Something we did upset her. Dr. Richter tried to calm her down. We had to put the tray with Mother's morning tea down, but why? It's starting to ring a bell. I think it happened in the morning.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
I don't believe you! Liars! Get away from me! It's not true! It's not real!
What? Oh.
Everything will be okay, Sherry. I promise.
It was the morning of the 9th of April, the day my mother died. My mother, she was not just ill, but mad. God have mercy.
I'm sorry. That explains why you locked the memory away.
There must be more, John. That was the morning of her death. I need to know what happened.
Every time you... I just don't... Please, Sherry, leave it be.
Just breathe, John. You know that I cannot leave the last stone unturned. We are so close.
I know. But can we at least leave it for another day?
Well, history tells us these memories are triggered by our investigation of other matters. I suspect it could not be forced even if I so desired.
Thank you. How are you feeling about all this? Tell me, I'm not the only one reeling.
In the end, little has changed. My mother was still unwell, just not with tuberculosis. What I do not yet understand is why Mycroft lied about it. There are precious few pieces of this puzzle remaining, John. Let us dawdle here no longer.
Indeed. Wait, did you hear that?
Yes. Metallic souls. What is this sailor doing here?
Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? I was looking for you.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
You can call me your new game. The rules are simple. I have something for you, but you alone must work out what that is.
And that something is my prize, I suppose?
You're a fast learner, sir.
I cannot believe that Mr. Vogel has somehow successfully called my attention to his gallery. You're here with an invitation to visit it, obviously.
My word, you are fast, Mr. Holmes. Could you explain how you came to that conclusion?
Of course. Explanations are my favourite part of any conversation. Hands without any sign of regular physical activity, in contradiction to one who would most usually wear such a uniform. The paint in your hair is pink. I don't know of any military service that paints their ships pink, unless they have launched a new fashionable fleet. A sailor with the soul of an artist? I would suggest rather a gallery employee disguised as a sailor to mislead me. How many artists on the island know where I live and of my passion for deduction? Werner Vogel is clearly at the top of the list. And you've been attempting to conceal something square-shaped within your pocket. An invitation, I suppose. An invitation to Mr. Vogel's gallery.
That was remarkable, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Vogel was right about your genius. I think he may have even underestimated you. This is your invitation. Please tell Mr. Vogel that the seed has been planted. He asked me to tell you to do so, if you win this little game. Farewell. You won't believe it, but Werner's other idea was to put me in a dress.
You're not obliged to be here, Sherry. We can leave any time you want.
Stuck deep in the wood. man with the shotgun was killed by a throwing knife to the neck. But not before firing at the man in glasses. The man in the hat took a bullet to his leg, but 2 other bullets missed. The report mentioned he was shot in the heart, but how? There's something I'm missing here. Who could have finished him off? A police boot print. So that's how it ended.
I just arrived here this morning.
I visited the location where the 3 robbers killed each other over some stolen loot, but I wasn't the first to inspect the scene, was I?
No. Officer Schmidt arrived there first, just hours after it was reported. Poor Schmidt. That same day, he received news that his dear old grandmother in Austria had died. He had to leave for the funeral immediately.
He is anything but poor. I doubt he'll be coming back. It was he who killed the last robber and took the loot for himself.
Blast it. I knew he was acting suspiciously. He may be beyond our reach now, but I'll be sure to expose the little weasel when I write my report. Nice work. Feel free to take another case. We make a great team, you and I.
creeps. What if the vampire comes back?
The flowers are still fresh. This is a somewhat neglected and dusty hat.
We're dealing with a very immoderate bloodsucker here.
The stone is rather unwieldy, so it couldn't be used as a weapon. Someone fell and hit their head on it.
Shouldn't we have brought some wooden stakes with us? Or at least garlic?
An expensive hat with a few grey hairs stuck to the brim. Someone tore their trousers here. Looks like a set of surgical instruments. One is missing. The label is illegible.
Nicely roasted.
I wonder how even the most destitute always somehow manage to scrape together enough for a drink. Psilocybin mushrooms. These are powerful hallucinogens. The blade is bent from the impact. The bleeding wasn't severe, there are just a few drops. The brother of the deceased became furious when he caught the anatomist exhuming his sister's body. He killed him with a shovel. The graveyard keeper took to his heels, but didn't get far. He fell, hitting his head on a stone, which rendered him unconscious. With the murderer gone, the reporter who was hiding punctured the neck of the first victim to imitate a bite. But when he did the same to the second victim, he killed an unconscious man. So we have 2 murders and 2 murderers, but no vampires.
Vampires are not so scary when you have grave robbers and journalists running around.
What's up?
Constable Stark, do you believe in vampires?
Hey? What do vampires have to do with anything?
Oh, that's exactly what I thought while looking into the murders at the cemetery. The primary suspect is indeed the murderer, but he's not the only one. The reporter, who so easily fooled everyone with his vampire stories, killed the other victim.
But why would he do that?
He believed the unconscious man to be dead and decided to concoct a thrilling story for his readers.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes. I'll have the conniving little scrub taken in immediately. There's only one case left. Don't let me stop you.
The hoof prints end in deep furrows. The animal was resisting.
What a waste. My gut tells me some dark magic happened here.
The robe is soaked with wine. Multiple bare footprints. I should examine them more closely. Someone stumbled on a stone and fell to the ground.
The priest said that he came here to stop the ritual. Did you really, Father?
The goat was torn to pieces. Ugh. Savagery. So, we have 3 lusty women engaged in a ritual. They're drinking and dancing when suddenly they hear a noise from the bushes. Their ritual seems to be working. There's a man they can get drunk already. While two of them are busy with the priest, the third one leaves. She is the one who stole the goat and brought it to the ritual. The poor animal smells trouble and charges at the drunken woman with the amphora. Still, he couldn't break free, and at the end was brutally torn apart and eaten alive.
Well, they attracted the attention of men. The police, at least.
Mr. Holmes, I have great news. Our recent accomplishments have earned me a promotion. Sergeant Stark. It has a nice ring to it, hasn't it?
What do you mean, our accomplishments? Of all the nerve, I don't recall you doing very much. I solved all the cases.
Come, Mr. Holmes. I didn't mean to belittle your contribution. After all, legwork is just as important as paperwork.
And what about the brain work?
Also very important. Don't get me wrong, your assistance was most valuable. Anyway, I'll be moving back to the office space. My days at this blasted desk are almost over. I won't be scapegoated now.
Good for you, I suppose. Speaking of scapegoats, I've solved the last case on the board. The goat was stolen by the lady in the blackbird mask. As if that makes any difference, judging by the atrocity I witnessed at the crime scene.
Yes, I heard about that one. The things women get up to these days. Ugh.
Well, I'm glad to have been of service. Now I have other matters to attend to.
Mr. Holmes, if I may be so bold as to make one last request. Do you remember that I told you that our chief inspector has been missing for a few months now? My current task is to establish his fate. I've tried to make sense of his last case, but it's a convoluted mess. I would really appreciate your help.
Why don't you do it yourself? I'm sure there's nothing in that case a police sergeant can't handle.
You're simply much better at it than me. There, I said it.
I won't argue with that, although much better is still an understatement. Fine, you have me intrigued.
Thank you awfully, Mr. Holmes.
So is it Chief Inspector Placido who has vanished? From what I've gathered, he was a good detective.
Ain't that the truth? He was solving cases like shelling peas. Without him, things have gone downhill. He was a crotchety sort, always grumbling, fussing, taking his snuff by the handful, but I, for one, miss the old boy.
Tell me everything you know.
I don't know much. Just that it's connected to a gang called the Hive. Placido has been after their leader, the Hive Master, for years. But otherwise, I can't make head nor tail of it. Here, take the key to Placido's office. You might find some leads in there.
Very well, I'll see what I can find out.
One thing is certain. It's a dangerous business. Be careful, Mr. Holmes.